And we in Zurich did that. And that built more trust, and all of a sudden our community started building more. Then we set the next milestone, which was the launch of an exchange. And that happened exactly as we said in September of last year in Tokyo. So this is the building of that trust, the building of confidence in what we're doing. Now this is the most historic level, that most historic moment that we basically have decided to open this whole enterprise, this whole ecosystem up to the world. And we have collaborated with outside exchanges, and now they are listing DasCoin. So this is the first moment. This is our moment, our debut to the world, to say, if you are a government, if you are a large enterprise, if you're a small business or a medium-sized business, if you're an individual, and you're interested in blockchain solutions, we have those solutions in this model. We have an amazing model that I don't think many people fully understand. And so that's what today is all about. And today we are going to be giving everybody here a glimpse into how we are going to change the world with this ecosystem. And we are going to show you things in terms of the collaboration partners that I don't think anybody here is even expecting or understanding is about to happen. So yes, we have we're going to be launching this today, our debut on the exchanges. But I want everyone here to understand that this is just the start of what's possible. And this is just the first moment that we are opening up our system to the wider world. And you're going to get just a glimpse of some of the incredible possibilities that are available on our platform. And you're going to hear people that you never knew that are now attracted to our ecosystem. And that is just the start. And we will build momentum on top of this, and we are truly going to a place where we will be the dominant model in this space. And you're about to find out why. So I really thank everybody who's here. We have also a lot of people watching our streaming broadcast of this. I want to thank everyone that's believed in us, and we are going to show you why we will exceed expectations. That's the way, that's part of our better way, is to always exceed expectations. And so sit back, or actually sit forward, because you're going to be blown away by what you're about to see over the course of today. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you very much. We'll be hearing more from Michael later, but for now let's move on to an overview of DasCoin from Blair Baker, who is CEO of Das Payments. So what is it that makes DasCoin different? Well, hopefully Blair has all the answers.
Good afternoon, London. Wasn't that a great presentation by Michael?
Yes.
It's always a challenge to go after Michael, since he's a fountain of knowledge. It's a pleasure to be here at the O2. When I think about the range of talent that has been on the stage, other than Michael, of course, we have great musical performers, we've got great comedy troupes, we've got great theatrical performers, And I wanted to try to incorporate some of them in my presentation today, but they were busy at a different blockchain conference across town. So I challenged myself to think about how we could incorporate some of these performers in the presentation today. So the title of my presentation is Sharpening Our DasCoin IQ. Who knows Daft Punk? Who knows Rush? So these musical acts have songs about the word digital. So the complexion of money and value has been shifting gradually over the past 70 years, starting with credit cards, and then we moved to debit cards, and now prepaid cards, where value can be reloaded on a piece of plastic. Within the past 10 years, crypto assets have emerged, where value can be created through a blockchain protocol. On the left here, we're looking at the first instance of Bitcoin being mined. And on the right, we are looking at the first block where DasCoin was minted. As we heard, that took place in March of last year. The word seigniorage that you're seeing on the screen is a very fancy economics word. What that word means is, if I am a central bank, or I'm a government, or I want to make money, the difference between the value of the money and the cost of production is called seigniorage. When we think about seigniorage in terms of crypto assets and digital assets and cryptocurrency, we can think of it in a couple different ways. One way to think about it is, as we see here on this slide. Those of us who were in Rio probably understand the importance of these 10 countries in the left column. The middle column lists the approximate estimated cost of mining 1 Bitcoin in each of those countries. So we can see that depending on where you live, if you're mining Bitcoin, if you think of all the electricity charges, etc., you have positive or negative seigniorage. In contrast, everyone living in those countries and everyone living in other countries has the opportunity to purchase the digital asset called DasCoin. And given where the price is currently trading, receive positive seigniorage. That's a major difference between DasCoin and other cryptocurrencies that are out there right now. Fleetwood Mac and Jadakiss have performed on the stage, and they've talked about the block, they've talked about the chain. That graphic on the left is a doozy. We had between 600 trillion and 1.2 quadrillion dollars of over-the-counter derivatives back when the global financial crisis was starting. Those are very lofty numbers. That's the notional value, the face value of those instruments. So governments, central banks, and even financial institutions can create assets limitlessly. There's no stopping what they can do. The market value of all those derivatives from about 10 years ago was about $21 trillion. And if you compare that to the global money supply, which is about $90.4 trillion, you can see that we have far many more assets in the world than we do money, than we do actual money supply. So those assets actually compete for our money. If we think about banks, banks are nothing more than middlemen between us and our money. So banks are what we call financial intermediaries. Intermediation, that's a very important word. That became a very dirty word during the global financial crisis. Reasoned that there had to be a better way. Now that's either a person or a group of people or some entity that contemplated this thing that we now know as Bitcoin and blockchain. So these asset prices of these derivatives are like hot potatoes, musical chairs. I think we maybe played some of these games when we were youngsters. The result was the global financial crisis. So someone said, we need to cut out the middleman. We need to learn how to disintermediate. In other words, we need to figure out how to be able to exchange value peer-to-peer. and that's one of the functions of blockchain. In addition to that function, other use cases are being created all over the world by these amazing fintech companies that are doing incredible things. So a lot of great work is being done using the DasNet blockchain, and we're going to be hearing a lot about that. Who's familiar with Monty Python? So Monty Python had a famous skit called The Dirty Fork, and Neil Young has a song called Fork in the Road. When there's a blockchain and a new instance of a blockchain is being created from an existing blockchain, we call that a fork. So that's a divergence in an existing technology platform. Forks happen when blockchains need to rectify some sort of problem, or when somebody wants to add some new code and create new features on a blockchain. The DasCoin blockchain is built upon the technology that we're looking at here. BitShares, Graphene, etc. Open, decentralized solutions that are used by others as well. A lot of great use cases are being executed all over the world utilizing this technology. We're looking at some of them right here. One of the questions that I'm often asked is, where do you think the value of DasCoin will go? It's a natural question. The best answer I have is this. If you think about some of the other technology platforms out there in the cryptocurrency industry that are using similar technology, we can see that significant valuations are being generated. And we can see that there is a lot of 24-hour trading volume, meaning a lot of liquidity that is associated with these similar platforms. On the case with EOS on the right, the team that developed it is also the team that developed the existing technology options. My brother from another mother right there. Cycles are closed-loop crypto assets. You buy a NetLeaders license, you receive cycles. You can choose to retain those cycles, or you can submit them back to the network minting queue in exchange for DasCoin. As we're going to be learning more about today and in the coming weeks, cycles are going to be taking an ever-increasing important role in this ecosystem. We're looking at a picture here of Mohammed El Ariad. He was one of the gentlemen who used to run PIMCO, which was a $1 trillion plus bond fund in Newport Beach, California. One of his favorite concepts in investing is optionality. And when we think about all of the amazing things that cycles are going to allow us to do in short order, we can begin to understand that we will have options. We will have options to stay in cycles and utilize them for various products and services, or we'll have the ability to exchange them for DasCoin. Linkin Park had an album called Hybrid Theory. There's this great ideological debate in the blockchain space versus centralized or decentralized. Which is better? And it's a very critical debate that's going on. As we know from the DasCoin white paper, there are centralized and decentralized elements in our ecosystem. Our value proposition combines both decentralized and centralized aspects. So rather than be too pedantic or academic about which is better, it's good to have feet in both camps. And that's in contrast to a lot of other cryptocurrency concepts in the market. Who is familiar with Julie Andrews? She has been on the stage singing Getting to Know You. Authenticated. Banks and financial institutions spend more than $270 billion US every year on compliance. We all inhabit a post-911 world where banks are having to make sure that the customers that they deal with are not sanctioned. They have to mitigate risks such as money laundering, terrorist financing, etc. DasCoin has an authenticated network. one of the reasons why we have an authenticated network is because we aspire to do many wonderful things in the future. We're building this huge network, so let's contemplate the future value-added services and partners that we can team up with. So those services include things such as challenger banks, mobile payments, digital payments, card associations, etc. That underscores the importance of maintaining an authenticated network. Seal and Earth, Wind and Fire sing about systems. They have been on the stage. One of the words that is used quite frequently in the blockchain industry is the word ecosystem. Ecosystem refers to the members of a network and their various interactions. The blockchain industry today is kind of like the PC market back around 1985, 1986. People such as myself had computers back at home then, but unless you had a modem, you really were not communicating with other computers at that point in time. So all these various blockchains in the world are not yet really interoperating the way that they will in the future. Another performer who has been in this building is Roger Federer, the Swiss tennis giant. And his name reminds me of the word federate, which means to unite or align or ally. We are looking at two famous federations here. On the left, we have Confederation Helvetica. That is the official name of Switzerland. So a bunch of cantons like Geneva, Zurich came together, they formed this confederation. On the right, we're looking at the World Wrestling Federation. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, the Iron Sheik, who remembers the camel clutch? Kamala, the Ugandan giant. So Vince McMahon federated these wrestling leagues and created the World Wrestling Federation. So what will be happening with blockchains is they will be supporting what we call the Federation of Data. We talked a little while ago about the event that we held in Paris at the Eiffel Tower, where Michael announced that a new DAS chain would be forthcoming later this year and geared towards the fashion industry. It was a great event. Let's think about something from the fashion industry. Let's think about Air Jordans. Nike earns an estimated $2.4 billion US on Air Jordans every year. MJ, number 23 himself, earns about $110 million with every contract. In a counterfeit sneaker bust in Santiago, Chile, about 2 years ago, the estimated street value of these Air Jordans, these counterfeit Air Jordans, was about $32 million. If a solution such as supply chain management can be put on the blockchain, those data can be federated and these risks can be mitigated. One other point I'd like to mention is as these DAS chains become active in the market and start to federate data, we will be moving from an ecosystem to an ecosphere. When you have multiple ecosystems that are interacting, that is actually an ecosphere. And finally here, noise. Rod Stewart, Michael McDonald, two very distinctive voices. As a Wall Street person, I spent a lot of time in my career managing risk, managing market risk. The successful management of market risk is the most important element of trading and investing. There's a lot of randomness in the markets. There's a lot of noise, technical noise, fundamental noise, headline risk, news risk, etc. We are looking at the most important price that there has ever been in the cryptocurrency industry right here. When Bitcoin reached $152.40 US back in early 2015, that actually became the most important price ever. But we did not know it at the time. It took 2 or 3 years for that price, the importance of that price, to be confirmed technically. A lot of people who are in the cryptocurrency industry get very excited about minute changes in price, a few Satoshis changing here and there. I would like to propose and suggest today that as DasCoin becomes traded in the public markets, that we not focus on those tick-by-tick price changes. Let's not focus on the minutia of a few changes here and there. Let's think about how we can collectively contribute to the long-term success of DasCoin. Let's think about the value add that each and every one of us can provide. If we can do that, then as Ice Cube probably sang on the stage one day, today will be a good day. Thank you very much.
Well, let's move swiftly on to consider the DAS ecosystem featuring DasCoin itself, plus Web Wallet and Net Leaders. Things are about to step up a gear with the new partners coming on.